Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is July the 13th, 2020. Strong hand, long-term thinking, buy and hold. This game is not rigged. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin, one day closer to an all-time high. Offended by selling, compete, don't complain. We're going to talk about that. Hello, my elite friends. We're going to talk about being elite today, too. Check out Sunday's show, Saturday's show, Beyond Bitcoin. That's a must-watch. This Week in Bitcoin with Omar, Baum, Berkey Von Bitcoin, and Nick of Bitcoin Magazine. It's all linked to below, disruptmeister.com. If you have questions, I have answers. Type in BitcoinMeister, or you can do a super chat to get my attention. I will answer your question. We're going to jump right into this. I'm doing things a little different today. I'm going to do an article review because a few people have told me, hey, you got to read Robert Breedlove's Masters and Slaves of Money. Now, I actually read it. Now, I don't know if all the people who retweet it, if they've actually read it. I doubt all the retweeters that have read it, but I read it. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. And I am curious to why people who watch my show think I'm going to go bonkers over an article that focuses a lot on scapegoating and blaming and deals with trendy social topics. Well, I mean, am I the kind of guy who likes, putting trendy social topics on pedestals? Am I the kind of guy who likes scapegoating and crying about the central banks? Am I that type of guy? Because I mean, maybe some of you are confused because his article. Now, Robert is a smart guy. Robert Breedlove is a very smart guy. He's entitled to his opinion. He doesn't like central banks at all. He really goes off on them, and he uses slave imagery and talks about the African slave trade, which is something a lot of people are talking about in this day and age, bringing it back up. Now, I mean, people really, and so he's picked a popular subject. And I think he knows, and maybe people really get off on this central banks are the ultimate evil on the planet and can be compared to the worst atrocities in the history of mankind theme. People love it. People love it. And it's very negative to me. Okay, there's too much anger there when like the people who get off on that because too much emotion. Build, do not destroy. Compete, don't complain. So there's so many people out there that their big dream is destroy the central banks. How about we build an alternative? Oh, listen, we are building an alternative. So it's an awesome alternative. It's an alternative that have already made a lot of people very independent, put them into the Bitcoin overlay, made them quite wealthy. So I don't really see the point of being fixated on the central bank thing, okay? And how many times does it need to be explained, what the central banks do? I mean, how many different ways do you need it explained to you? Money printing and inflation. And so I very much hope, okay? I very much hope that Robert actually owns Bitcoin. I really hope so. I really hope all the guys out there who write extensively about the central banks being the root of all evil and the fiat system is going to go down the tube. I really hope these guys have a substantial amount of Bitcoin, okay? Because you can talk the talk as much as you want to. But the only way your life is going to change is if you actually walk the walk and you buy the Bitcoin. The first step is obviously the One Bitcoin Show. You buy one Bitcoin and then you get two. And I'm pretty sure guys like Robert own some Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure it would be, but I'm pretty sure there are some guys that really get into the theoretical aspects of how horrible central banks are and fiat is and how great gold, and they don't own any Bitcoin. It's just like they can talk and talk and talk all day. The only way you change your life, people, is through action, okay? Through action. And a simple action is buying Bitcoin. And it's something I've been recommending for quite some time on this channel. Check it out, disruptmeister.com. You can watch all the old shows going back to my first one I ever made in 2013. So so let's get the article starts out in Africa back in the day. All right. And the Africans they valued their wealth in these beads. and in strips, in a certain type of strip of paper. They liked these things, okay? That was their thing. And the Europeans came along. They came to Africa, and they had technology. The Europeans, they saw what the Africans liked, and they were able to mass produce what the Africans liked. That lots of beads, and lots of paper strips. They were able to produce, says Robert. Okay, and so he says it was counterfeiting. Okay, and so the Africans willingly gave up their resources and their time for these things that they valued, that they all of a sudden they had a lot of. These Europeans had brought a lot of these beads. Now, they weren't original beads at the Africa, but they appreciated them. Okay, so again, it's this imagery that he's using is very trendy for the day, and it is trendy to make it out that the technologically sophisticated entities are the root of evil. You know, they were able to mass produce what these people valued, and so they're evil. Okay, they're terrible. And again, they did do some bad things. The people who produced this stuff, but then you like, there's a jump. You're supposed to make the jump to like, okay, so all central banks, basically the central banks were going to Africa and doing this. No, that's not what, you know, the head of the Fed, Janet Yellen, was going on a boat to Africa and doing this. No, she wasn't. Okay. The current people that are in charge of the financial system, they weren't doing this. All right. They weren't. And again, the people, and we're going to revisit this. Some people do not value their wealth in Bitcoin. They value their wealth. People are free to value their wealth in beads, in big screen TVs, in whatever they want to. Okay. Now there's you got to figure out what's the best money. Okay. You got to figure that out. And if you see that your dollars, if you think the dollar and you keep on reading, there's trillions of dollars being printed, you can still like the dollar. In fact, most people will still like the dollar. Most people still like the beads, even though there were tons of beads all of a sudden. Okay. So is it the fault of the bead maker? Is it the fault of the person printing up all the money? Is it people value big screen TVs and TVs? TVs used to be rare. Now anybody can get the best TV that you can imagine. Whose fault is it that people are valuing their wealth in TVs? Okay. Now he does talk about the monopoly on currency. Okay, and we're going to get into that, but there is no longer a monopoly on currency. So why are we complaining still? Why are we revisiting these things still? I mean, some people like to complain, I guess. And okay, so we talked about the trendy imagery that was used throughout, and he even brings up Jordan Peterson. He even tosses in some Jordan Peterson imagery. Okay, good stuff. Good. Pound that like button, people, if you like this review. Now, and so again, today people value their wealth in stuff. We've mentioned this many times, and people waste a lot of their time on TVs, watching TVs. He talks about time being valuable. Okay, people don't necessarily want to be free. Okay, I think his premise is that everybody wants to be free, or maybe that's an underlying belief of his. I don't want to put words into his mouth, but not everyone wants to be free. Plenty of people are just happy wasting their time watching big screen TVs and valuing their wealth in fiat and big screen TVs and stuff. Okay, that's a choice that people make. I mean, there is really no rational excuse in valuing your wealth in something that can be mass produced and inflated away. But this is what has been going on for generations. Okay, people are irrational most of the time. Most of the time, people are totally irrational. Why would you value your wealth in fiat when there are alternatives? Okay, there have been alternatives for generations. There's been gold, there's been real estate, there's been all sorts of things people can get into. But most people, they like to take the easy way out in life. This is what it is. This is what value is. Beads are valuable. Okay, beads are valuable. Dollar bills are valuable. Okay, dollar bills are valuable. They're making tons of them. No, who cares? Who cares? I mean, whose fault is that? People aren't learning. People don't want to learn. People are comfortable in the way they are. Okay, people are stuck in tradition. People like being trees. Collectivism is the default. Okay, individualism is the accomplishment. Most people don't accomplish free thinking. Okay, so he's encouraging people to be free thinkers. I believe he is. He's a free thinker. Clearly, I think he assumes that everyone wants to be a free. No, not everyone wants to be a free thinker. Many people are quite happy with the way things are. They don't understand what true freedom is, and they don't desire it. Now, the government monopoly on money is not a good thing. I agree with that, okay? But we live in an era where there no longer is a state monopoly on money. And his article is linked to below, so you can read it too. With gold, the monopoly was broken, okay? I mean, there could be no argument about that. The gold has been available for quite some time, and if you didn't like your government doing the fiat thing, doing the central bank thing, you could have gotten gold, okay? So now the government keeps printing lots of money, and people still value their wealth in money. Whose fault is it? I mean, the same people vilifying Facebook, by the way, for trying to break the government monopoly on money, okay? They scapegoat Facebook. They scapegoat Zuckerberg because everybody loves a scapegoat. I mean, this is the world of today. People who need currency competition the most are the ones who are the most envious of Zuckerberg, are the ones who love when their politicians, jab at Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg is into, and you might not agree with his type of currency competition, all right? Businesses creating their own currency, but it breaks up that monopoly. And we all agree that when governments have a monopoly on money, some bad things happen, okay? But the same people who suffer under these government monopolies of money, and they love it most of the time, they're the same ones who love when their leaders attack a guy who's trying to bring freedom to them, actually. So you could believe the fiat, and so he kind of gets into the realm of stories, the fiat story. Everyone accepts the fiat story, the central bank story. This is what money is, all right? But you don't have to accept that story. I mean, we're going into Yuval Noah Harari territory here. He didn't mention him, but I thought of it with the stories. You can believe the United States dollar story, most people, and you can complain and cry, or you can believe the Bitcoin story. Okay, it's easy. It's so easy. That's the bottom line. I mean, that's what the article can be boiled down to. Fiat is bad. Central banks are bad. All right. You can stay in their paradigm. You can believe their stories. You can value their wealth and what they produce. Or look, here, there's another option. It's been around for 10 years. It's called Bitcoin. You can go buy it. Or you can talk about it and not buy it and complain. And so there's just so much imagery in the article that triggers the 80%ers of the day and triggers a lot of people that are just impulsive and like, oh yeah, he's rocking the central banks. He's putting it to them. Yeah, they're evil. They're evil. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? Get Bitcoin. But I mean, he does do a good job of showing how insane the fiat central bank story is. But of course, a lot of 80%ers, they don't want to be free, and they'll believe that insane story. So worry about. I don't think people should be worrying about who to blame. Okay, who to blame for the central banks? Who to blame that focus on the option that is there now. Okay, Bitcoin is the option. Stop blaming, start buying. That's me. Now, that's not what this article was. Now, here's a quote. Central banking will fail. It is critically dependent on ignorance, fear, and the suppression of free choice. It cannot stand the galvanization gaze ever present in the digital age. Centralized counterfeiting operations will not be tolerated in a world with unprecedented access to knowledge. Incorrect. The central banks will become more powerful. You think people are going to take advantage of the knowledge that's out there? You're right. We are in an unprecedented age of access to knowledge. And yet, look at all the people who are compliant to the government, who get scared by a freaking by a cold. Okay? Look, that's the reality that's out there now. People putting masks on their face when they're running and when they're 100 feet from people, scared to death because the government and all the information's out there. All the information you could to learn about what's really going on is out there. Do people take advantage of all the information that's on Twitter? No, they scream and shout and curse at each other all day long. I say use it as a place to learn. But dude, Robert, the central banks aren't being defeated. They aren't going anywhere. People love to not be free. People don't do their own research. 80%ers are trees, okay? You're a smart dude. You think they're as smart as you. They're not. And they don't want to be free like you want to be free. They don't want to be free like I want to be free, okay? They like a comfortable dystopia. Don't you see what's going on out there? The reality of the world today? I mean, it's insane. It's insane. I think it's crazy that people think the central banks are going to be destroyed by Bitcoin and central banks are going down and people are realizing what's going on. People are realizing what's going on. Really? Really? They're really realizing what's going on? Do they buy Bitcoin? What do? They get a check from the government. They beg for more checks from the government. That is the propping up of the Federal Reserve. That is the propping up of the dollar story, what we see going on the streets today. It's the complete opposite of what you're talking about here. And what most people in the Bitcoin space shout about and just, they get so happy about it. It's like they met it's like the best moment of their life. Yes, the Fed system is going down. Yes, this is what Bitcoin means. Yes, yes. Oh, I'm so glad George Bush is going to be poor now. And no, that's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. The 80%ers are falling for it more than they ever have before. And they will continue to, but they're 80%ers. You worry about yourself. You opt into the overlay. Whatever happens below, it happens below, okay? Who cares the Federal Reserve is still out there? Who cares they still print trillions of dollars if you actually own Bitcoin? I don't care. I own Bitcoin, okay? So no, it's not. We haven't approached, just because there's so much information out there doesn't mean everybody becomes wise all of a sudden to what's up. In fact, there's more confusion than ever. There's more worshiping and compliance to the government than ever before in this country. It's unbelievable. Now, so then he says, remember, society always slides towards slavery when a privileged few are able to produce money more cheaply than everyone else. Okay, so he uses slavery again. As such, a free world is forever beyond reach before central banking is eliminated. No, it's not. Not for the 20%ers. I'm living in a free world right now, dude. Okay, in a free financial world. I'm living in a free financial world right now. And the central banks are still there. They're not being eliminated. They don't have to be eliminated for Bitcoin to be successful. Most people don't want to be free. Most people want to glide through life and be a tree, and whatever happens, happens. Central banks will not be eliminated. I agree with the first part of what he's about to say here. By buying Bitcoin, you are participating in a global protest against state-controlled currency pyramid schemes. I agree with that. In a way that politicians cannot ignore. No, they can ignore it, since money is the only voting system in which your voice cannot be muted. Now, some of them will buy Bitcoin themselves, and that's the best thing about Bitcoin. Your so-called enemies, the politicians, they can buy it too, if they want to. But all the people who worship the politicians, they won't buy it. Isn't that kind of funny? And thus, the politicians, they'll have their Bitcoin, and they'll have their central banks too, to buy off their voters with. Okay, so these digital currencies, these fiat currencies, they're going to evolve too, okay? They're not just going to sit there, these people at the central banks. They got some smart people there. They're doing their own digital currencies. And these digital currencies, these Fed coins, will be more efficient than ever in extracting wealth from their people. And the people, the 80%ers at least, will accept it as long as they have their beads. I mean, their TVs. Pound that like button. So he says that buy Bitcoin equals bye-bye slave masters. No, if you buy Bitcoin, you're not getting rid of anybody, okay? If you want to call them slave masters, you want to call them whoever, those people are still out there. I say buy Bitcoin, and it's freedom for the people who actually buy the Bitcoin. So I talk about getting something. By buying Bitcoin, you're acquiring freedom. He's saying by buying Bitcoin, you're eliminating, you're destroying some mysterious class of elitist or something like that, okay? So I like creation. I don't like just focusing on the destruction. But again, the popularity of this article, so many people love the destruction thing. So many people love the scapegoating thing, okay? Just love it, just love it. That's their thing. And it blinds them to reality that the people that they're blaming everything, they're not going anywhere. The elite are not going anywhere. They don't worry about them. You become elite. This is not about eliminating some mysterious class of elite. It's about making yourself elite. Hello, my elite friends. All right. So Bitcoin is a rebellion against the most powerful bastion of socialism in the free world, he says, central banking. It is a peaceful revolution involving the permanent disarmament of tyrants who weaponize money to confiscate wealth. No, it is not the permanent disarmament of tyrants who weaponize money to confiscate wealth. Those type of people are still going, if you're describing the central banks, they're still going to be out there. I'd say it is a rebellion against a bastion of socialism. Yes, I say Bitcoin is a rebellion against a bastion of socialism in the free world. It's a rebellion against central banking, no doubt about it. So you rebelled against central banking. You said, bye-bye central banking. I have Bitcoin now. Bye-bye. But it's still going to be there, dude. It's still going to be there. And you can use big trendy words that'll get people emotional and talk about Africa in the 1600s and beads and whatever. But they're not going anywhere. The people like their beads. All right. People like their TVs. People like their stuff. And you could try to tell them that Bitcoin is scarce. They don't get what scarcity is. They probably think it's great. So many people are like, the United States should just print trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, send me a check so I can smoke weed all day, and I don't have to ever go to work at Target again. That is what's going on today, dude. All right, now. All right. Most people do not want to be free. Bottom line, Bitcoin can be very successful for those who actually own it and do not only theorize about it. And central banks can exist and get even stronger because most people love a comfortable dystopia. 20%ers are elite, all right? So there you go. You can have your Bitcoin and the central banks can keep on chugging along and the 80%ers can keep on smoking their weed and getting their government checks, okay? We can all coexist. We all can coexist. But these articles, which will continue to come out. It's such a trend in this space. Central banks going down the tube. Central people waking up. People know the truth about money. No, they don't. No, they're not going away. They're creating Fedcoins. They're creating a more centralized control way of producing fiat. Okay, but you don't have to be a part of it. Bottom line, you don't have to be a part of it. You don't have to be a tree in that world. All right. So, and here we go. Here's an article from the bank. It says the Bank of England is reviewing whether it should create a central bank backed digital currency, according to Governor Andrew Bailey. I think in a few years' time, we will be heading toward some sort of digital currency, he added. Yes, you will be. So will Canada. So will Japan. So America eventually also, okay? It's a way to get negative interest rates. We've discussed this before. Why not? Why not try it? Why not do it when all the 80%, many of the 80%ers, they won't object to it. They'll love it. Oh, it'll be so convenient. Oh, look, I can get my government check 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Look how quick this digital version is. This crypto Fedcoin, whatever they want to name it. Okay, look, it's so great. Ooh, I don't have to work at Target anymore. I can work for the. Okay, let me just see if there are any other comments here. All right, we got a question. Roman Q has says BitcoinMeister today 80%ers give up their hard-earned money for fancy clothes and flat-screen TVs. Short-term thinkers will always waste their money on frivolous things. Living, yes, they will. By the way, good to see Vention in the house. Taval Dakres, who's also in the house, was asking about Vention. He was worried about Vention. I said, don't be worried about Vention. I know Vention's all right. All right, there's no reason to worry about Vention. Now, he's got determination. He changed his whole life around, but not everybody can change their whole not everybody has the conviction, has the long-term thinking to change their whole freaking lifestyle. He changed his health lifestyle. This guy in the article thinks everyone's going to change their financial lifestyle. No, they're not. Everyone's going to become a saver. Everyone's going to understand what scarcity is. Some people are incapable of understanding scarcity. All right, okay. And he can use as strong words as he wants. Counterfeiting. The Fed is just counterfeiting money. Counterfeiting. The banks are counterfeiting money. Okay, use whatever words you want to use. It's not scarce. There's a lot of it out there. That's the way it is. It's been the way for a while. There have been alternatives since gold. There's a really good alternative called Bitcoin now. Compete, don't complain. Let's get into the real thing here, baby. And something I forgot to say yesterday, I was talking about the 11 richest guys in the world. One thing that Andy Hoffman brought up in that original tweet was that some of them are going to obviously have to buy Bitcoin because they're smart. And I agree. Yes, some will buy Bitcoin. How big of a difference it will make, I don't know. My big difference maker when it comes to thinking about who's the 11 richest men in the world is when one of the 11 richest men in the world, and this is what I talked about yesterday, made his wealth through Bitcoin, like a Winklevi gets in there or something like that. But indeed, the 11 richest men on the earth are so darn rich. Of course, some of them already probably own some. I mean, Zuckerberg probably owns some, and Elon Musk probably owns some already. And some of them will buy probably a substantial amount sooner or later. Bitcoin Tina, but I want to clarify that. Bitcoin Tina has a very good tweet. All these people that are screaming about why is Bitcoin correlated with the stock market? Why is Bitcoin correlated with the stock market? Woe is me. That's a problem. Oh, the world is going to end. Bitcoin is correlated with the stock market temporarily. And he says the stock market is Bitcoin's fuel tank. I like that outlook. Okay. I like that correlation. I like that comparison. Okay. The stock market is Bitcoin's fuel tank. Look at it that way. If you're disturbed by the stock market going up and Bitcoin going up at the same time, just think the stock market is Bitcoin's fuel tank. Some of those people, they're getting rich through the stock market, so they're more likely to buy Bitcoin now. I mean, interpret it any way you want to. I think it's a nice way of looking at things, and I always try to look at it on the positive side. Oh, and so I'm watching the Ben Shapiro show today, and he's got YouTube advertisements in the middle of his show. And all of you know that I don't do that here. I don't insert ads into the middle of my show, but soon YouTube will be making that the default on everyone's videos. The reason I bring this up again, and you can watch the Beyond Bitcoin show where I notified everyone of that, because YouTube has notified creators that they will take all of our archives and go back and put videos and advertisements in the middle of our videos. They're automatically opting us into that. But some people have already opted in for years and years, like Ben Shapiro. I find it annoying to have the advertisements. And so one of the advertisements, and this is not because of Ben Shapiro, this is because of YouTube. One of YouTube's advertisements that they approved of, and it showed up twice during the Ben Shapiro show, is it's an advertisement for a fake Vitalik Buterin giveaway. Okay? So where is the YouTube ad police here, okay? This is someone, an entity out there who's trying to scam people, contacted YouTube, sent them money, gave them some sort of name, and gave them this ad, which was a total scam ad, and YouTube put it up there. Does YouTube have human beings that actually watch the ads that they put on their platform? I mean, it was so obvious. Are they that desperate for revenue all of a sudden? What's going on here? I mean, seriously. So I assume eventually people will complain about this, that it's a total scam. But it's quite obvious this isn't Vitalik Buterin that is paying for this giveaway ad. It's shocking. But in one sense, it's not shocking because YouTube does not know what it's so big. I guess you could say Google. They don't know what one hand is doing and what the other hand is doing. They don't know. They don't know. One hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing, is what I was trying to say. I mean, the algorithm is controlling so much, and maybe there's just an ad algorithm. Maybe you submit your ad to a machine looks at it and says, oh, this seems nice. Okay, cool. Because someone is paying for these ads. And then, but this stuff keeps on coming back over and over again. Anyway. Real humans don't look at anything at YouTube, I guess. All right, but that's crypto news because it's a crypto scam. They are allowing scams, straight up scams in there. But then they don't allow SM to talk about philosophy. Okay, they don't allow SM to talk about philosophy. They don't allow a lot of people to talk about anything. But they take money from straight up scam artists pretending to be other people. They don't have a way to, because they've let a machine, an algorithm, decide on everything. They don't have a human to actually look at that anymore. So here is the $1 trillion dude, whatever his darn theory is. What is that? The stock to flow guy. He says, what are the odds of a country using Bitcoin as currency? I don't know, dude, because go back to Robert Breedlove's article. What country in its right mind is going to want to give up that power over the 80%ers? I mean, the power to print money and control the 80%ers? that would be totally given up if you use Bitcoin as your currency. Now, they could, I mean, it's a lot easier to dollarize, and maybe they'll peg it to Bitcoin one day. And in this day and age, we've seen so many things crazy happen this year. I mean, you can't say never say never. You can never say never that a country won't use Bitcoin. But the way countries are currently constructed, I don't know why they would say, okay, Bitcoin's our currency now. He was alluding to Venezuela. I mean, they're getting away with making their own digital currency. So why not stick with that? I think countries are much more likely to make up their own cryptocurrencies before they adopt Bitcoin, because they still have some power over it. And it would be an interesting gimmick to peg the currency to Bitcoin. How long that peg could last, I do not know. All right, but interesting thought on your part. Stock the flow, dude. Remember, dudes, subscribe to my backup channel. You get all sorts of interesting shows there, including the Beyond Bitcoin show. You do not get the Beyond Bitcoin show on this channel. You get that on the backup channel every Saturday night. But if you go to disruptmeister.com, you can't even tell what channel everything's on. You'll see all my main shows. But you do have to subscribe to the backup channel or go to the backup channel to see some of the extra shows that I put on there, which include like a clip of a party I had in Baltimore and a music video, all this fun stuff. Okay, we will leave it with this Zach Vole very funny tweet. But at the same time, someone is going to try this one day. Maybe it'll be Ego Coin. He says, I'm worried TikTok e-girls will connect the dots after Dogecoin and realize their power to massively increase their income by buying absolute S coins and shilling them to their armies of simps in the form of challenges. So yeah, that's a good idea. All these e-girls that have all these simps following them, what they should do is buy some absolute 10th tier S coin, buy a bunch of it, and then say, hey, you guys, I challenge you to buy this coin and pump it to $1. And they will become incredibly wealthy that way. And I mean, like Ego Coin, he could just hire one of those girls and say, hey, here, I have this Ego Coin. Tell your simps that it's going to get to $1, and tell them to keep on buying it until the challenge is to get it to $1. And they'll do it, because some of these dudes are they value their wealth in that. They don't value their wealth in Bitcoin. They value their wealth in the attention of some young lady on YouTube. I mean, who doesn't know them? I mean, it's so sad. It's sad how some people have, I don't know, they have no self-worth at all when they get their jollies from talking to somebody dancing on YouTube or on a video or on TikTok, I guess, on TikTok, excuse me. But as we saw, the people were able to pep up Dogecoin, and that was without any e-girls. So, I mean, you add e-girls to the mix there. Woo-wee! Who knows what can happen in altcoin land? But hey, man, this is where the big boys play. This is about personal responsibility, okay? So if you fall for one of those things, if you're that desperate that you listen to some you get your financial advice from an e-girl, then I mean, I don't know what to say now. All right, Barefoot Barry said, I haven't seen any ads since I've been using the Brave browser. Cool. How does that blocks out a Brave browser will block out an ad in the middle of a YouTube video? I mean, a video ad, it will, I don't know. I have the Brave browser, but I don't, I haven't like registered with it. It's kind of fast sometimes. I don't use it often. I don't have the block. It blocks pop-ups, I thought. I don't know. Okay. What else do we have here? That's true. Venture says that's true, but the nations out there that function without much money printing. Cambodia basically uses dollars. Yes, that is true. I think Panama does as well. Yes, that is true. So it's easy. And I said it's easier to dollarize than to use Bitcoin. So, I mean, Panama does do that. Panama is you go down there, use $1. That's all it is. They have their own coins there, so they can kind of have a little bit of power with that. But no, they function quite well. So if a country isn't functioning quite well, and they still want to have a little bit of power, I would think they would go to dollarization before they would go to Bitcoinization, because it's been proven. All right, all right. Vention says so. I'm not going to repeat what he said. All right, guys. Pound that like button. Bang that bell button. This is what you get here. Conviction. You get your. So I'm not one of those guys that just say, yeah, Robert's article was so great. It was so great. I mean, it was well written. It was well researched. It said he's a smart guy. But no, I don't. I think for myself here. I don't jump on the gravy train or whatever. I don't follow the herd. I actually read it and I thought for myself and I gave you my real opinion of it. And you're entitled to your opinion of it, everybody. So this video was a little bit different. Pound that like button. I'm Adam Meister, BitcoinMeister. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at TechVault. BitcoinMeister on Steemit and Hive. And of course, now on Parler. And we're going to make it Crypto Parler. I'll say hi to you guys in the chat. Thanks a lot. Bye.